So Sinan, let's talk about compliance right now. We have a brand new president of the United States. We're in the middle of an economic crisis, and I think it's pretty safe to assume that we're going to have some tighter rules coming down from Washington and from the SEC. And I think it's also a safe bet to say that over in Europe, and especially in the UK, the FSA will be creating new rules right now. So are firms preparing for this right now, or are they just waiting for the rules to come down? Are they starting to drive under the speed limit, or are they waiting for finding out what the speed limit will be?
I mean, I think it's a given that new regulations will come down. It's not clear what they are, but the industry has been responding to regulations like Regulation NMS and MiFID and Basel II for a while. So they've been through this exercise before, and I think what worked, although maybe slowly in the past, is if you are creating this information flow inside the company for no other reason than better internal governance, and create these repositories where all the data goes in for multiple use, then it's a safe bet that the investment is going to pay off, even if there are additional regulations down the line. But right now, I think industry is in a sort of a guessing situation, because we don't know what the new regulatory regime is going to look like here or in the European Union. I think first thing that happens, government and parliaments react to make sure that what happened will not happen again. So there's compliance and regulations that are preventive and they are ultimately restrictive. And there's a lot of lobbying and negotiation that goes around it until everyone knows what the final set of regulations are. Then I think there will be other regulations that are designed to build the new global financial system with all the checks and balances that most people think was missing. And that led to the current crisis. So there are two different things, and I think it will come in two different cycles. The first one will be just make sure this doesn't happen again, increase the transparency, exposure to the information from the investor community and government regulatory agencies, make regulatory cycles tighter, more frequent reporting on more things. And that's, I think, we'll wait to see what the specific regulations will be through the end of 2009, I think.
Right.
FSA is asking about liquidity risk and various means of building a reporting infrastructure for liquidity risk. Right now, Treasury Department is very keen on understanding stress testing and stress testing requirements. And that's a major infrastructure investment to be able to do stress testing as the government wants it, time after time and on a weekly, monthly basis. And beyond those, there will be other regulations that will be the new design that will bring in maybe even international regulatory agencies that don't yet exist to look at global financial system. It may be IMF or World Bank in a different role. We don't know yet, and those will be much bigger adjustments, probably over longer periods of time.
So do you think that by this fall, right now this is the spring of 2009, do you think by this fall, and maybe this time next year, we'll have some guidelines, some new rules in the books?
I think so. I don't know how severe it will be, but I would think that there will be requirements to ensure transparency across the trading cycle to both the investor community and the government agencies. And there will be more frequent reporting for the balance sheets and the security trading organizations filed with the Treasury Department or Federal Reserve on a more regular basis, and periodic checkups by government staff to come in and look at the operations. And there's even rumors that Sybase will be Sarbanes-Oxley is going to be extended or modified to cover the financial system, capital markets.
Maybe Sarbanes-Oxley 2.0?
Maybe, I don't know.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it all comes down to data again. Once again, it always comes back to data and, crunching those numbers and checking your exposure and your liabilities.
It is data capture, collection of it, presentation of it, aggregation at different levels, and access to it from parties outside the organization.
Okay, right. So for our last question, I'm going to ask you to take a look inside your crystal ball and tell us what the next 12 months will look like for Sybase and for the global capital markets industry in particular.
I think, I'll answer the second one first. It is going to be just small step adjustments by the institutions that are now beginning to report more favorable financial results. And the government will be watching them very carefully, and they'll be fairly coordinated, although it may not be coordinated expertly, but coordinated dance to see our way through this crisis. I think there will be fewer institutions, obviously, but the volume of business globally that needs to take place, along with raw data that is generated by trading and portfolio activities of institutions, isn't decreasing. The number of investors is not decreasing. The amount of capital that needs to be reinvested is not declining.
Trading volumes has not really declined. Market data volumes has not declined.
Trading volumes may fluctuate, but the need to do portfolio trading and to allocate capital is there. So everyone is waiting for the opportunity to allocate capital. The interest rates, what you would regard as the risk-free return on capital, is very low. So no one is going to park the money for a long period of time. So it will come back into circulation. And the volume of business, even though there are fewer institutions to conduct it with, is still fairly large. And it will increase, and there's still growth in the global economic activity. Some national economies may see a decline in their gross domestic product, but net, it is going to be even. I think by the end of 2009, the whole global aggregate GDP is going to be at least break even, maybe a little on the positive side.
Okay. So what about Sybase? What's the remainder of this year looking like for Sybase and its clients?
I mean, our focus is on helping our customer base to go through the transformation that they are going through right now as far as IT infrastructure. Achieving higher levels of productivity from their assets and consolidate their operations and create these new, much more technologically advanced data centers and building the processes that move the data around so that everybody who needs to make decisions actually have the information as complete as they can possibly have. And that's our focus. And I think it'll stay on that theme. And we have seen very good results the past year. Our Q1 was a very good Q1. Our financial results defied the general mood in our business. I'm very optimistic about 2009 for Sybase.
So there's still plenty of opportunity in this current climate?
There is opportunity simply because we're just in the middle of working with our customers in this transformative phase, and we haven't seen yet any slowdown in our own business.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Sinan Baskan. Thank you very much for Sybase. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.